This is Cyberpunk 2077 running on a 3.5 gigahertz AMD Ryzen 5 1500X with 16 gigs of DDR4 memory and a 8 gig NVIDIA Geforce GTX 1070 video card. So let's take a look at our settings. So I have kind of an interesting set of settings running on this one. So first we are outputting to 1440p. And then, so this is something I've been wanting for a while. I know there are those who say you need a solid 60 FPS to use this. Now, if we take a look here, we aren't even hitting 55, 60 FPS with it. However, oops, dang it, I do have what do you call it? Upscaling turned off, and we're only using the frame gen. Now, personally, I prefer the way frame gen standalone looks over upscaling. I know some people are gonna rail about fake frames. It's worth mentioning that this is going to probably be the cheapest viable gaming computer I have ever sold. Okay? This is probably going to be sub 250. I would really like to get this to 240. I think maybe give or take. It depends on if I put effort into the delivery. I like to deliver them if... What the heck? I like to deliver the systems, so I might have to go more like 250, 260, but this is going to be a very cheap machine. Like, we're coming up to how cheap can I justify for the physical time it takes to actually put something together and test it and make sure it actually works. Like, I'm coming up to the limit of what I can do, taking that into account. So, I mean, look at this. We are effectively getting a medium gameplay experience on Cyberpunk 2077 on a not more than $260 delivered computer. So I gotta tell you guys that are completely anti-frame gen, you're nuts. We can take a computer in this price range and give us as good or better than a like an upper mid-level console experience using this technology. And personally, I've always considered myself fairly picky when it comes to visuals, and honestly, I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks great. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but I think it looks fine. Absolutely nothing to complain about when it comes to the cost of the experience, and I would make the argument that this is a more or less complete experience. Everything for the most part is here. There's not a lot that's missing. Yeah, it would be a little bit prettier with some ray-traced graphics, but fundamentally the experience is here. So I would say this, and again, there's lots of different things you can do here. You could do frame gen plus upscaling. You could do lower res with no frame gen or upscaling. You could do upscaling only. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you could go with here. This just shows that we can achieve a decent, acceptable budget 1440p Cyberpunk experience. So I hope that kind of gives you guys a good idea of what to expect on Cyberpunk 2077. Let's do one more thing. We may get some slowdown when I do this. Let's do our really heavy gameplay drawing in the city center area. I'm gonna bet that we're going to see low to mid 40s. I could be wrong, though. Let's see. I know some people are going to probably bitch about the video card being hot. It's not cool, but it's also not hot. It's pretty average for what it is for a... This is a fairly generic 1070. It's not a fancy version of the 1070, so I think sometimes you'll see a 1070 run or a 1080 run as high as like 83. As long as we're not going above, I think the number is like 84 or 85, we should be fine. Okay, so this is what I expected. Now, you could always do this. Turn our FSR on the quality. And that does get us up over the hump. I would like to use the frame gen without FSR if possible, but I would still argue that with the FSR, it's still a playable experience. We're not getting massive pixelation here. We're not getting... It's just not that bad. I don't know. Maybe I should be pickier, but there's still a lot of people out there that are getting this experience. Those of us that, dang it, those of us that have something like a 4080, 4090 on like a 13900K, 7800X3D, something like that, we're the exception, not the rule. Now what? That's not the experience most people are having on gaming. Now, there is a little bit of quality degradation there, a little bit of... I don't know how to describe it. I would probably say it's a result of the FSR. I think that's kind of standard I've seen with FSR. It's a little bit, a tad bit jerky. It's not perfect, but again, it's absolutely playable. Keep in mind, this is the most demanding it's going to be. And the other thing to keep in mind, too, I mean, look, you can always go, let's say, medium. SR quality. Okay. Yeah, so that gets you up even higher. It just depends on what you want. Like I said, there's a lot of options here on where you could go with it as far as the settings. You could turn all of this off and just run it at low. Sometimes I like that better. It depends on the system. Sometimes I do like the crisp native render at just low settings. It just depends on what you're picky about. So anyway, again, I hope you guys find this to be kind of an interesting look at what to expect on Cyberpunk on an ultra budget gaming desktop. And thanks for watching the video.